Footprinting methodology. This locate the network range. Now, locating a network range is also important for doing the footprinting or for attacking, because we have these different organizations. They are using their organization, they are using the public IP addresses for their network. If we want to access them or we want to attack them, so for attacking those organizations, we need to know the exact range of their organizations. Because sometimes when you try to get the IP, you will see some IPs which is actually big range. But you have to make sure that what is the exact range they have. So network range information obtained assist an attacker to create a map of the target's network. Find the range of IP addresses using the ARN Whois database search tool. You can find the target of IP addresses and the subnet mask used by the target organizations from these regional internet registries. So there are regional registries are there for the different regions, different registries we have. For example, I will show you. When you go to ina.org, this is the organization for numbering. You go to number resources, and here you will see these are the different registers. These are different regional registers are there. This is for Africa region, this is for Asia Pacific region, this is for Canada, US and some Caribbean islands, this is for the Latin America and some Caribbean islands, and this is for Europe and the Middle East and Central Asia. You can see that maps also. These all registers are there, and all these registers are also having a Whois lookup option. So you can see any IP. You can see that IPs are belong to which organization and what is the range, exact range they belong to. For example, if I suppose ping some organization site, like this one. Now what I got here is the IP address. What is the IP address? 116.50.79.208. Now this is what class A IP address. Class A IP address, that means it has millions of IP address in the single class. Now do this organization has all those IP addresses? So that means you have to do attack on all those IP addresses. That is very big task, and that is also not true, because these having all these IPs, it is very big. Like it is you're having this big network like this which required these number of IPs. It is not possible that a single organization can have these number of IPs. So we have to make sure that what is the exact range they have. Then we can do, and we can go on to the next phase, which is scanning, where we can try to find some information about these different IPs there. So network range is also important. So for example, I got this IP. Now I have to look for the register where it can find. So this is the Indian organization. So I will go to Asia Pacific, and that is this register. So I will open this register, and in those registers we have the Whois lookup search, and here is the Whois lookup. So here I will put that IP here and search. Now it will give me the information about that IP range, that exact which range they have. So now here is the answer. It is saying the information related to this, that is what 116.50.64.0 to 116.50.127.255. So basically they are not having the whole range, they are having only 116.255.64.0 to 116.50.127.255. So we are getting the idea that how much IPs they are having, and what will be the subnet for that IP. That means what is the subnet for these organizations. So we can guess this, and even we can check that what they are for. Like it is Reliance Industries Internet IP pool. This is for the Reliance company, So they have allocated this IP, and you will see the other details also here, like it is the IRT person, Reliance RT India. This is for the address RCP Ghansoli. Email addresses, you can see the mobile numbers, you can see the important person's information here. Like this is the Reliance Industries, it is in India, it is this corporation IT park, this is the address, the whole address, second floor, Thane Velapur Road, Ghansoli. This is mobile, this is the phone number, email address is also showing there. So you will get the other information with, you will get the subnet information. So you can see they are having this 116.50.17.0/24 subnet. So this is how we can get the range of the organizations, and that is also very important for us. Then determining the operating system. We have to determine the operating systems they are using on their servers, so that we can design our attack based on those operating system. We will find the vulnerabilities of those operating system, and then we can use those vulnerabilities to do the attacks. So we can use the Netcraft tool to determine the OSs in use by the target organizations. So when we go to the Netcraft site, we can search for the particular site, and we can see that which operating systems they are using. And also we can use this online tool. This is called Sudan. This is the search engine that lets you find specific computers, routers, servers, etc. using the variety of filters. We can use these online sites and online search engines to find out about the operating system and other devices. So first let's see the Netcraft site. Go to Netcraft site, and it has different tools, resources, site report, search DNS. So you want to find about operating systems, and go to search DNS. Now here you will give the name which you want to search. For example, I am giving Microsoft and search. Now here it is showing subdomains also, and in this side if you see, it is showing the OS operating system, which operating systems they are using for this particular server. This particular server which is hosting this particular site. You can see this is Windows Server 2016 for this teams.microsoft.com. This one it is unknown for this, and this main site for the Microsoft, which is www.microsoft.com, it is working on Linux. So you can see Microsoft is using Linux here. For the admin of Microsoft, it is using Windows Server 2016. For the answers site, this site it is using still Linux. Unknown Windows Server 2008, they are using still Windows Server 8. Here they are using Linux, Windows Server 8, Linux Server 2016, and some of them is unknown. So you can see the operating system which they are using, and we know that when we see the operating system, then we can design our attack based on the vulnerability of that. And if you want to see the site report, then you can go to this to view the site. This is the site report about that server in detail with locations, hosting history. It is showing the site hosting history, that site was hosted on these OSs on these dates last seen.
No, sir.
This is history of this site with the dates and year. Then it shows the other information about the sites also. And you can get this by clicking on this site report. You can click on this Linux, to again go to the site report. So this is Netcraft, where you can find the operating system information. There is one more tool, that is Sudan. That is Sudan. This is Sudan HQ.com. So here you can explore about someone, like for example, let's say I will go for Microsoft. Now it will show you the detail in very much detail. It is showing about certificate, it is showing about the web browser, header request, it is showing here the status of that. It is Apache, HTTP status. These are requests, these requests are not found. And in this side you can see the detail about this, that top countries which is using this: United States, Netherlands, Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia. Top services are HTTPS running on this. Systematic Data Center, HTTP SSH is also there. Top organizations is this: Microsoft, Microsoft Corporation, Microsoft Limited Corporation, Akamai Technology. Then top products, what the products they are using: Apache Tomcat they are using, Microsoft IIS HTTP D, they are using Nginx, they are using Apache HTTPD, they are using Exim SMTPD. So you can get these information from this Sudan also. Then next thing is traceroute. This traceroute program work on the concept of ICMP protocol and use the TTL field in the header of ICMP packet to discover the routers on the path to a target host. That means it is to find out the path from the source to the destination and how far it is. Now it uses what ICMP echo packets to do this. Traceroute, it uses the ICMP echo packets to do this. So first you should understand how the traceroute works. It very simple. It do what? It sends the echo packets. We do this by using the ping command. When we use the ping command, so ping do what? It sends the 4 echo packets by default when you do it on Windows machine. It sends the 4 echo packets and wait for the response. Now if the machine is there, if the destination machine is there, then it will get the reply, and if the machine is not there, you will not get the reply. Now the traceroute do what? It will use the same echo packet, but it do what? It uses the TTL value. It decreases the TTL value to 1 first time when it sends the echo packet, first echo packet. Now TTL value is what? It is time to leave. Now for example, if we do normal ping, like I will do ping to www.facebook.com. Now what it do here, you will see the TTL value here. TTL value saying is 57. Now this TTL value means what? It is time to leave. A packet which is coming from that server is having this TTL value. It is showing this TTL value. That means after this TTL value, the packet will be not used. It will not be forwarded. It will discard. So when the packet goes to the router, so routers always check the TTL values. Now if the TTL value is 0, then router will not forward the packet to anymore. It will stop forwarding the packet. It will drop the packet and send the error to the source who is trying to send the packet. Send the error that time to leave is expired. And when time to leave is expired, that means it is 0. The packet will not forward it. So what traceroute do? It actually sends first packet with time to leave 1. So when it sends first packet with the time to leave 1, so the packet goes to reach first router. Now when it reaches the first router says that time to leave is now become 0. Now every router do what? It reduces the 1 from the time to leave value. Like suppose if this machine sends the packet with time to leave 10, then when it reaches the first router will minus 1 from it. Then it will become 9. Then when it goes to second router, that is second hop, then that router will remove 1 from it, so 9 will become 8. Then it will reach to third one, so third one will remove 1 from it, so it will become 8. And then it will reach the destination and it will show that this is time to leave is 8. So basically whenever it reaches any router, the router will reduce 1 from it. So when the trace route, we do the trace route, what happened? Our machine sends the packet with time to leave 1. Now when it reaches the first router, what it do? It removes the 1 from it and the value becomes 0. Now when the value becomes 0, it will not be forwarded to any other router. It will drop the packet and send the error to ICMP error to the source. Now trace route do what? It records the source, it records the error, and the error is coming from which router. It records the IP of that router and it will show us that this router I found. Then next packet it sends with time to leave 2. Now that means it will crosses the first router, time to leave become 1, then it reaches the second router, so the time to leave is 1. Now second router will remove that 1 from it, it will become 0, so it will drop here on the second router. Now this router will send the error. Now the error will give the information of that router, so our machine records that router IP, that the router is found. Then it will send the time to leave now for 3. So first router will be passed, second router will be passed, the packet will be dropped on 3. Then that router will send the error and the record is the router's record will be there in our machine. Then it will start increasing the time to leave unless it reaches the destination. And that is how this trace route works, and it finds the path between the source and destination. It finds that how many routers are coming between source and destination. Now for Windows machine, if you are using it on Windows command line, the trace route command is traceset. In Linux machines, the command is trace route, but for the Linux Windows machine, the command is traceset. So here I will try to do the trace route for this site. And now see what it do. It will find the path. Now it is not only sending one packet as time to leave 1, it sends 3 packets to be make sure to be confirmed. So first hop it finds this is my gateway, my router. Then second hop it finds this is the third hop, and it also try to resolve the name of those IPs. This is the fourth or fifth one, now sixth one. And it will try to do this until it reaches the destination. Our destination is this IP, and now it has reached. You can see it has reached that destination IP, and it has reached after 7 hops, and the 8th one is the destination. Now by default it can go up to 30 hops, maximum 30 hops. This is the default value of trace route. So by default it do increase the TTL value from 1 to 30 and try to find this 30 till 30. So most of the destinations will be come under the 30, but if your destination is more than 30 hops, then you can manually increase the value. So this is what trace route, and this is how trace route works. Now to analysis the trace route, we can check this trace route. But by the help of trace route, what we can do actually. So attackers conduct the trace route to extract the information about network topology, trusted routers and firewall locations. So attackers try to do this to find out the exact location of the firewall, and also it will try to guess the topology of the target organization, trusted routers of the target organization. For example, after running several trace routes, an attacker might obtain the following information like this: that's second to last hop is this, third to last hop is this, second to last hop is this, and second third to last hop this, second to last hop this. Now by putting this information together, attacker can draw the network diagram. For example, if you see this network here, this is the first router. Attacker is coming from the internet. Then you will see the machine server here. If this is accessible from directly one hop, that means this is the only router. After that you have this. Then you could have a firewall there, and firewall will drop the packets. Remember, firewall do what? It will drop the packets of traceroute, echo packets, so that we'll know that where is the firewall. For example, I will show you this. Now for example, if I try to ping this site, and this is the IP of that site, now you see I'm not getting reply, I'm getting what? Timeout. Now timeout means what? My traffic is filtering there, because this site is working. That means if I try to log into this site, the site is opening. That means the port 80 is allowed, but the ping request is not allowed. The ping request is denied here. Now where it is denying, let's check that. So I will use traceroute for this site or this server. Now you will see where it is exactly denying the packet. Now this is my hop, my router, it is passing it. Then second hop is my ISP, it is also passing. So these are also passing. My SIPL.com, this is like service providers. Now remember, these are not the organization IP, this organization IP. These are different organizations. This is Mumbai VSNL, which is sending, this is the ISP for me. Now here if you see, it is within the range. This IP is within the range. If you see 116.50.79.208, this is the IP which I am scanning, and this is within the range of that IP. That means these two hops are inside the organization. Now after these two hops, that two routers, you have timeout here. Now the timeout means what? After this hop there is a firewall, or maybe this is the last IP. This is the last IP, and maybe this is the firewall. That means they have this router there, which is their router which is connecting them to internet, and after that they are having this firewall which is blocking the traffic. So this can be a router. This can be a router which is connecting this network to the internet, and after the router they are having the firewall, and this firewall is blocking this ping request, and it is keep blocking. It will not reply, will not get any reply. It will keep blocking. Now remember, when you do the trace route, sometime you will get this star sign. Now star sign or timeout in between. But if after that it will keep going, then that means no problem. If suppose maybe it is because of the network or something, the packet was dropped, but the next packet will go on. It will keep continuing the hops. But if it is continuously stopping, it is continuously coming timeouts, that means after that you have some problem, whether you are having a firewall or something. So we can understand now that this is the IP which we are trying to ping, and it is not allowing us to ping. That is, there is a firewall. So these are not their network. We know that this is the range they have. We have already checked the range. So this is the range they have, 116.50, and this is within their range. That means this is the router they have, and this is what the firewall they have. So by doing the trace route, attacker can gain the information about the network diagram, and also it can gain the information about the firewall location. We can use these other graphical tools like Path Analyzer Pro. We can use the Visual Route. They all do the same thing. Like Visual Route can also give you the IP location, and it will give you map location, like where it is going from. Your ping request is going from which location to which location. We can do it manually also. We can just use the IP locator for software. We can use the IP locator site to locate the IP address, and we can also find the location. But this will do it for you. In altogether, these are the graphical tools. This will work on Windows machine, and you can use this to find out the root path. In Linux machine, you can do one more thing in Windows machine which you are not able to do. Now in a traceroute, we have, if you try to search the options, so these are the options with the traceroute you can run. Like we can run D option to do not resolve the addresses to host name. It is trying to resolve the names. So if you do not resolve, then you can do it fast. Then maximum hop count by default 30, so we can increase it. We can do it for the host list. Lose source root along the host list you can mention. You can do it with the timeout. You can decrease or increase the timeout. You can do the trace round trip path IPv6 for this. For IPv6 source you can use capital S option. This is you for IPv4 and IPv6. Now when you do the traceroute in Linux machine, you will get one more extra option. The extra options you will get, I will show you that in our Kali machine. Now Kali is also Linux. Now in this traceset, the command is traceroute. So the command is traceroute. Now here, if you check the help, I will show you one. These are some extra options you are having here. You will have one more option which is also important, and that is this option T. Now what this option will do, remember when we are trying to ping that site, the site is blocking the ICMP. That means the packet of ICMP echo, it is not able to go inside because their firewall is blocking the ICMP packet. But if I want to trace the internal network, like I want to see how many hops are there after the firewall. Maybe after the firewall there are routers. So maybe there are routers, that means there are different departments inside the firewall. So I want to throw my packet inside the firewall, through the firewall. So I can use this -T option, and this option available in Linux machines when you do the traceroute. Now this T option will do what? Instead of sending the echo packet, it will send the TCP sync packet, and by default is port 80. Port 80 is almost all the firewalls are open the port 80 because their website is running. So mostly they have opened the port 80. So we can use this to throw the packet inside the firewall because firewall will allow port 80. Let's see what happens when we do this. So what I will do here, I will use the traceroute command, and I will use with -T option. Or first I will try to ping that site to check the connectivity we have. Now it is resolving the name, but it is not able to ping because they are blocking the ping. Now if I do the normal traceroute, so it will do with the ICMP echo packets. And you see Linux is very fast also, and you can see that it is still stopping on that IP, and it will go till 30 and then automatically it says okay, deny. So it is still stopping on that. It is still stopping on that hop, and after that hop it is not able to ping because ICMP is blocked. Now what, I will use T with it. Okay, for this you need root privilege, and for that I will use sudo. Now you see what happens here. It actually passes the firewall and touch the server. This is the server IP, and the firewall is there. Let's see where is the firewall. So firewall was on this IP 116.50.122 and 110. So where is, so this is what the firewall IP, it was blocking. But now what happens, after the firewall IP, it has gone to one more hop and there was a server here. So this is the server which we are trying to trace, and after the firewall it is giving directly the server. That means there are no other routers are there after this firewall. So after the firewall directly we get the server IP. So after the firewall we have directly server there. So with the T option, it do what? It sends the sync packet of ET, port 80, and because of that it can pass the firewall, and it is helping us to guess the internal network. Guess the internal network diagram. So maybe that means after one firewall there is a web server there, or maybe after the one firewall there is one more router there, and then your web server is there. So we can hope and we can assume the network diagram. So we can use these different graphical tools also. We have these different tools also to use. Now footprinting through social engineering. Now this social engineering is the art of convincing people to reveal confidential information. And social engineers depends on the fact that people are unaware of their valuable information and are careless about protecting it. Mostly people are careless. They don't know what information they are having, what critical information they are having, and mostly they are doing what? They are carelessly telling these informations to others. So no matter how secure our network is, no matter how firewall, how security measures we take, the human is the most vulnerable thing in the network. So humans are careless, and if they reveal their information carelessly, then it will harm your network, it will harm your security. So this social engineering attack basically attacks on the human. It basically attacks on those fool humans, those don't know about the importance of the information they are having. They are not interested, they are not care about it. Maybe like sometime, you know what, some people call them, like they say I'm not able to log in, what I do, they suddenly literally give them the password, and loudly they say like type this, go there and type the password ABC and this and that. And you know the hacker, if they are using the social engineering, that means they may be around those important fool persons, and they can hear what they are saying, they can hear what they are suggesting someone, and also they can do what? Different things. So these social engineering attack to attempt to gather what? Credit card details and social security numbers. It is to usernames and password also. It is for gathering the other personal information. It is to gather security products in use, operating system and software versions, network layout information, IP addresses and names of servers. Now how they can do that, how they can, which techniques they can use? They can use eavesdropping. Like what I said, eavesdropping. Like someone is standing behind you, you will not know that he is listening you, but his whole concentration on you. What you are doing, what you are saying, what you are typing. Even they can watch in your mobile your codes also, like password, mobile code also. They can do shoulder surfing. Shoulder surfing is like standing behind you and watching you. Like it can do stand behind you, what you are typing, what you are doing. They can do dumpster diving. Dumpster diving, that means they can dive into the dumpster. Like you, maybe some user have a habit of writing these important informations in notes, creating small notes. Then after the job is done, they remove those notes and throw it into the dump. Some important documents they can find from the dumps. So dumpster diving is also the part of social engineering which attackers do to find out some critical information mistakenly come into the dump. Then impersonation on social networking site. And social networking site is the most dangerous thing for any person. So attackers do impersonate some other person and try to get the information from you through the social networking site. They will they will create a fake account, they will impersonate with some other people, and then they can send you the request. You will accept the request. Then within the chatting, they can get some important information from you. So no matter how secure you make your network, how much firewall you add, how much security features you add, if your user is not secure, and this is what the weakest point in your organization, and these social engineering attacks are more successful than the other attacks because it exploits those weak link which is human. Eavesdropping, you see, like this, eavesdropping is what? Unauthorized listening and conversation or reading of messages. So you don't know that somebody is listening you don't feel like you're listening, somebody is listening you or matching or watching you. It is interception of any form of communication such as audio, video or written. Shoulder surfing is like it's procedure where the attackers look over the user's shoulder to gain critical information. It is like this. Attacker gather information such as password, personal identification numbers, account numbers, credit card information, etc. And also they can use dumpster also. They can dive into the dump looking for treasure in someone else's trash. It involves collecting a phone bills, contact information, financial information, operations related informations, and from the target company's trash bins, printer trash bins, user desk for sticky notes. These are very important things for hackers, and users are carelessly throw these important information under the dump. And if the attacker gain these information, they can use it for the further social engineering attacks. So collecting information through social engineering. Now on social networking sites. So these attackers gather sensitive information through social engineering on social networking websites such as Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google. So attacker create a fake profile on social networking site and then use the false identity to lure the employees to give up their sensitive information. Employees may post personal information such as date of birth, educational and employee's background, suppose name, etc., and information about their company such as potential clients and businesses, partners, trade sectors or businesses, website companies, upcoming news, mergers, acquisitions. These are important things. Maybe they have to keep it secret, but they sometimes do what? Post it on these social networking sites. Use these details to often employee of a target organization on an attacker can compromise a secure facility. No matter how secure your facilities are, but if your user is not secure, he's not responsible, then it can be a problem. It can be compromised. So information available on social networking site. What information available there? We create accounts on these social networking sites and we actually provide lots of information to them. What attacker gets? First, what's user do? Maintain profile. From it, what attacker can do? It can get the contact info, location, etc. Then user survey. What organizations do? User surveys. Organizations do what? User survey. From there, attacker gets business strategies. That means when they are surveying for something, that means they are planning to do those things. Then users do what? They connect to friend chatting. They do what? Chatting. So friends list, friends info, etc. It will also get that. So it can easily impersonate some other user as a friend. That means it can impersonate you, it can call you, it can chat you with some other account which is look like your friend. And organizations do what? Promote the products. From there, attacker can get the product profile. For the users share photos and videos. It can attacker can get identity of family members also. Then what organization do? User support, and for user support it can get the user information for the social engineering. Then users do what? They play games, join groups. So from there attacker can get the interest. Now what are the interests you have? So they can craft the social engineering attack on that based on those interests. Like for example, someone is uh, interested in dancing. So what they do, they will design a mail, social engineering mail, phishing mail, and send you and lure you for some offer, for some information. Like it will give you the offer like you are getting this thing very cheaply or freely. You just have to do this. You have to just fill this form, and when you click on that link, it will take you to the phishing site, which will gather your information and then throw you out and redirect you to some other site with an error. You don't know what happened, but your information is all taken. What organization do? They do the required recruitment also, so that like in LinkedIn, they throw the jobs. They want a job advertisement they did. So with the advertisement, they inform about the platform technology also. So attacker can get the information about the platform technologies. Then users creates event. So for that, attacker can know that what the activities you are doing right now. And organization do what? Background check to hire the employees. And this is how they can get the type of business you are doing. So you can collect the information from these social networking sites like Facebook, where you have these activities, these numbers of users are there. You can see the detail here. You can just make friend and go to the profile of the friend and see the other informations. You will get the contact information, you will get the friends and family information, you will get the location information, you will even get the mobile number also. From Twitter also you will get lots of information. LinkedIn, you will get more professional information. You will get more interested information. And also YouTube. From YouTube you will see most visited website according to Alexa. This is the most visited site. Views per day. This one of very 10 internet users open YouTube. Videos upload every day. So average time users spend on YouTube every day is 100 seconds. Now from here it can see the organization's channels, so that they can see what they are doing and what the employees are doing. The employees also create those channels and they put some videos out there. Now sometimes users do what? They create fake accounts. Like suppose the attacker is creating the fake account, and they are saying like I'm from US, but they are sitting on some other country. So if you want to guess this location of that person, like track user on social networking site, then you can use this tool. These users may fake identities on social networking sites, so attacker use tools such as get someone IP or IP grabber to track users' real identity. So steps to get someone's IP address: through chat on Facebook using get someone's IP tool. So it will give you the IP address of that person, and from the IP address you can get the location of that person. So if it is using the fake account, or if it is doing some fake things, then you can guess it by using the chat. Now what you will do here, you will go to this site. This is myiptest.com. In this you have option to get someone IP. So when you click on that get someone IP, it will create these 3 links. It will show you these 3 links here. So first link for the person, that means copy the generated link of this field and send it to the target via chat to get the address. So you just have to copy the first link. This link is for the person, and you have to copy the link and send it with the chat to someone who you want to get the location. Now you have to lure that person to click on that link. Now for that you can create this redirect URL. So second URL will be the redirected URL. Here you will enter any URL you want to the target to redirect to. That means when the user click on that link which you sent, so the user will be redirected to this URL which you type here in the second field. So you just have to lure the user to click on that link, and the link will take it to that URL. So you can give any URL and you just have to lure the user. You will say that this is the interesting, you will say like, and most of you will get that thing like you get messages like this, that free, someone is giving this free, click on this link and you will get this free, and you click on those links. So you can do this also. You will give this link to someone, say this is free, that is free, click on this link, and when it click on that link, you will type some other URL and it will take the user to that URL, and the IP will be sent to you. And the third link is for you. This link, when you open, you will see this field where you will see the link ID, you will see the IP address of that person, whether they are using proxy or not, and time and date also. This you can do on this My Test IP site. Now this is the site, and here is this get someone's IP. So option is here, and there are other tools also. You can do IP lookup, you can do ping, you can do DNS search, you can test speed test, you can also do the trace route. Now if you want to do this get someone IP, so you will click on this, and you get these 3 links. So what this is the link for the person you want to locate. So you have to copy this link and send it to that person through the chat, through the WhatsApp or Facebook chat or Twitter chat. So when you send this, so the user will open the link, and when it opens the link, you will type this link where you want to redirect the user. For example, I will say www.google.com. So what happened when the user click on this link, it will be redirected to Google, but its IP will be logged, and that we will get from this URL. So this URL is for you, that means for us. So you have to copy this URL and you have to open it in the browser. Now here, when the user clicks on that link, you will see the information here. You will see the link ID, the IP address of that person, whether they are using the proxy or refer, and date and time also. Right now it is not showing anything because I have not sent the link to anyone and they have not clicked on it. So you will send this link to someone you want to trick, and you want to get the location of that person. So this is what the tracking user. Then we have footprinting tools, different footprinting tools we have. One of them is Maltego. This is graphical tool which we can use to do the footprinting thing. Maltego is a program that can be used to determine the relationship and real world links between people, groups of people, social network, companies, organizations, website, internet infrastructure, phases, documents and files. This is graphical tool. You can use this to do the footprinting, lots of different things, whatever we have learned till today in this lecture. So we can do this on this Maltego tool. Then we have other tool which is web data extractor. This tool do what? It extract the target company's contact data, email, phone number, fax number from the web for responsible B2B communication, business to business communication. Extract URL, meta tag, title, description, keywords for website promotion, search, directory creation and web search. So it is also helpful to find out the important informations. Now these are also graphical tools. You just have to put the data, the organization IP and name, and then website name, and then it will scroll the website. You can do it manually also, but it will take lots of time, but this tool will do it for you, and it will extract the information, email, phone number, fax, title, descriptions, keywords, everything it will extract from the site. Then we have FOCA. This is Fingerprinting organizations with collected archive is a tool used manually to find metadata and hidden information in the document it's scanned. So you can just give the document here and it can scan the document for the information. It can also do other things. This is also graphical tool. Then we have Recon NG tool, which is also this one is the command line framework. This is web reconnaissance framework with the independent modules, database interaction, built-in convenience functions, interactive help, and command completion that provides an environment in which open source web-based reconnaissance can be conducted. Then we have these tool, OSR framework. This is also helpful in set of libraries developed by the i3 Visio to perform open source intelligence tasks. And it is a bunch of different applications related to user name checking, DNS lookups, information leaks, reaches, deep web searches, regular expression extraction, and many others. These tools are free, open source, but some tools are not free, like these FOCA, these web data extractor, these Maltego. So these tools of those graphical tools mostly not free. They are not free, but these command line tools are like, these are open source tools which we can use, and these are available in our Kali Linux. So we can use these tools to find out these informations. Now these OSR framework tool includes these different packages, these scripts, these user UZFI PY. This checks for the user profile in up to 290 different platforms. So it can check the profile, it can check the mail existence to a given mail. This one, it can search the platform to a query on the platform in OSR framework. Domainify, it will check the existence of the domains. Phoneify checks for the existence of a given series of phone number. Then we have many other tools to do the footprinting and reconnaissance. These are the different tools. I will show you this, which is available in Kali Linux, that is Recon NG. It is available in Kali Linux. Now in our Kali Linux we have available Recon NG is already there. So when you go to information gathering and you will go here, you will see this Recon NG. So when you click on it, it will open the command line tool. This is the Recon NG framework. Now here you can see what you can type help to get more information. Now you have these informations here, like you have different modules. You can see the modules, whatever the modules you have. So if I say I want to see the modules, so I will say show. I can see profiles or vulnerabilities, but right now I will just check the modules. Do I have any modules? So I will say I can search for module, I can reload or load modules. Right now, do I have any modules? So if I search, so I don't have any modules. There is no modules found. So because there is no module, for doing different things like companies, contact, credentials, domain, host, or these informations, you have to load the modules, and you can load the modules from this marketplace command. This is the interface with the module marketplace. So for example, I want to get some modules. So for example, I will get some modules here. So I will give command market place, and I want to install some module. Let's say for example, I will install hacker target. Now it is installed. Now when I check modules search, now you can see there is a module loaded, hackers target, and we can use this module. So for using the module, what we can do, we will say module load, and we will load this module which we have downloaded. Hacker target. Now you can see the module is loaded. Now here in the module you can check you can list, actually what is it, show the domains, no data returned, because we have not created it, we have not mentioned, we have not configured any domain. To get the information about the module, we will give command info. So it will show you the information about the module, and options, it is showing these options. Source is set to default, current value is default. Now we have to mention the source which we want to do this thing. We want to do get the information about the host. So first we have to mention the current value about the source which we want to do the reconnaissance. Like I will set the option here. So for that I will do option list. You will show you the current options which we can set. You can set the source name, required not, description we can set. I will set the source which I want to do the reconnaissance. So I will give commands option set source, and the source, let's say I will give tesla.com as a source. So this is the .com which I want to do the reconnaissance. Now when I list options, I can see the source here, and now the source is set, and input is also set. So we have already added the input. Now we can run the module. So when I run the module, I will give command run, and now it is starting to do the job. And what it did here, it is finded 26 total new hosts found, and it is actually finding the subdomains here. It is finding the country is unknown, but the host is this is the IP address. It is not able to find this information. Then the other host is this. You can see it is finding the subdomains of these hosts, this domain. So just like this module, you have many other modules in this ReckonNG to work with, and you can find many other informations here. Then just like ReckonNG, we have this OSRF framework. Now this one is not there in Kali. You have to install it. So this is not available in Kali by default. OSRF, and it is not there. So OSRF is not there here in this Kali. So if it is not there, then we can do what? We can install it with sudo apt-get install OSRF. Did it find it? is not finding. So it is not finding this OSRF. Let me give the full name, OSR frame. Okay, now it has find it. Now I will give okay, yes, I want to install it. And now it is installed. Now if you want to run this, we'll run OSRF, enter. So H will show you the help. You can see this is the help. Now if I want to run this, let's say I want to run to get the let's get the help first. So these are the different sub commands here, which is to check the generate the alias, check the email visit, check the domain, check the whether domain names using words and nicknames are available. Then Mailify gets the information about the email account. Phonify looks for the information linked to a spam particular practices by a phone number. Searchify performs the query on several platforms. So we can use these, like for example, I will do it for Domainify. So the sub command I will mention is Domainify. Then you have to mention which domain you want to do. Like for example, I want to do it for Google, and then you want to save the output to a file. Now by default it will show you on the terminal, but if you want, then you can save it on the file also. So I will mention the file name where I want to save the output. And it will show you this here, possible domain for the Google. So whatever the name you give, it will show you the possible domains there, and it will also show you those IPs if they are available. So any domain, like for example, I will give any other domain. I don't know whether this domain is there or not. Like for example, Kali. I don't know is this there or not. I just want to see. So it says there is kali.org with this IP, kali.com with this IP, kali.net with this IP. Same as this, we can use other scripts for this OSRF also, like Mailify. So I will use Mailify. Then name, I will give my name, and output I want to save it to this file. Now it will try to find any mail related to this name. So it has found these mails here. Taqi Ahmad at protonmail.ch, proton.mail.com, ya.ru, Yandex. Okay, it has found these things, and some of them is not able to find, but it has found this mail is related to these other profiles. These if mails have been used to register these accounts. So these 5 platforms are used. So we can check these information like these. We can check the other. We can use the other also for mailing. We can use search.fi also. It will also search this name. My spelling is wrong. Now search.fi will not go with N, it will go with Q. So you see it is searching these Facebook and all these, and what it found here, it is having these accounts with these names. These are possible matches with these names with these on these platforms. So this is also good for finding the people and information about the domain and other things. And then there are other tools also available. Then countermeasure for footprinting. Now not only we are the ethical hackers, so our job is to do the countermeasure also. So the countermeasures are configure the router to restrict the responses to footprinting request. So we have to configure the routers to restrict these responses, these requests. Configure the web servers to avoid the information leakage and disable unwanted protocols. Then lock the ports with the suitable firewall configuration. Then use an IDS that can be configured to refuse suspicious traffic and pick up footprinting patterns. Now IDS are different than firewall. It is intrusion detection system. It will detect the pattern where the firewall is not able to detect. Now we are going to do this in the scanning part, where we do the different type of footprinting, different type of scanning. So this IDS can only detect those things. Then evaluate and limit the amount of information available before publishing it on the website, internet, and disable the unnecessary services. Perform the footprinting techniques and remove any sensitive information found. So these organizations are giving this information. Actually, they are purposely giving this information. So the information has to be given, but they have to remove the sensitive information before publishing anything. So they have to make sure that they are not any sensitive information is publishing, because they have to give the information about the organizations to the investors. So whoever wants to invest the company, they have to know about the company. So these informations are available because of that. So these organizations give the information. Only the thing is they have to make sure that they don't give the sensitive information, unwanted informations. Prevent search engines from caching a web pages and use anonymous registration services. And also these websites, when they create the web applications, they have to prevent the search engines to cache. So in web applications there are codes, so you put those codes to disable the caching of those pages. So when you do this, those websites will be not being cached by the other sites like archive.org, Netcraft. Then enforce security policies to regulate the information that employees can reveal to third parties. And very important is to educate your employees that you are having some sensitive information and you don't have to give this. So when you go to any big organization for the job, first they will give you the security training, and that is the security procedure actually. And other counters are like set apart internal DNS and external DNS. So we have to set up two DNS, which is internal is different than external. External DNS will have the information about the external servers, and internal DNS will have the information about the internal DNS. This is what it is: disable directory listing and use the split DNS. Split DNS is what internal DNS is separated than the external DNS. And also directory listing must be disabled in website, so that any files cannot be cached. So when you do the mirroring the site, it will download the sensitive files also when you are having the directory listing permission. This is when you design the website, you have to think about it, you have to disable it. By default it is enabled whenever you create any website, whether you are creating it Linux on Windows, Microsoft IIS server. So you have to disable that things, and you have to educate the employees about various social engineering tricks and risks. This is very important. Then restrict unexpected inputs such as these. So these will prevent the injection attacks. So when the website developer develop the sites, it has to prevent these unwanted, these unexpected inputs. Then avoid domain level cross links for the critical assets. Domain level cross linking, so that cross linking that with the other domains, so that it will not be revealed. Then encrypt and password protect the sensitive information. So whatever the secure information data you are having, you should have to be protected by encrypting it with the password. Now finally, doing the footprinting penetration testing. Penetration testing is what the hackers do, ethical hackers do. This is our job, is to do audit and do the penetration testing on the network. So footprinting pen test is used to determine what organizations publicly available information on the internet, such as network infrastructure, operating system, applications and users, and the tester attempts to gather as much information as possible about the target organization from the internet and other publicly accessible sources. So in this phase, ethical hackers' job is to find the information available in publicly available sources like internet. It will allow the organization to prevent information leakage, prevent social engineering attempts, prevent DNS record retrieval from publicly available servers. So footprinting penetration testing will do stepwise by using first get the proper authorization. You get the proper authorization from the organizations so that they can allow you to do these things. Then you will define the scope of assessment, what you want to do. Then perform the footprinting through search engine first. So search engines like these, Googles, Yahoos and all. Then second, you will do the footprinting of websites by using these tools, mirroring tools, proxy tools. Then next, you will perform the mail footprinting with these other tools to track the mails. Then gather the competitive intelligence, whether it is you are getting some sensitive information or not. Then try the Google hacking to get the sensitive information with using these different Google hacking tools. Then perform the Whois footprinting by using these different tools to see what important informations we are getting from this. Then performing the DNS footprinting by using the dig or NS lookup to try to reveal the sensitive servers information, email addresses. Footprinting we can perform using perform the network footprinting to get the range and design of the network. Then perform the social engineering, try to do the eavesdropping, shoulder surfing, dumpster diving to get some important information. Then perform footprinting through social networking sites, and then do the all documentation, whatever you have find it, do the all documentation and give those to the authorized person of that organization. This is the sample of that testing report. Information obtained through search engines, what information you obtain, information obtained through the people search, information obtained from these and these, and you will fill these informations here that what you have got with these things. And then this is like the report for the pen test, and you fill all these things which you find, and then you will give this information to the authorized person of that organization. So this is what the footprinting and reconnaissance. So we have seen what we can do with the footprinting and reconnaissance. We try to gather the information from online and free available sources, and also we can do the social engineering for that.